Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Leadership Matters, a weekly half-hour series aimed at supporting leaders. We believe that leaders do matter. And this is a special occasion. This evening, we pause to salute all you beautiful women out there, especially those women who are in leadership. We are thankful for you. I want to affirm you this evening and to say that you add serious value to all that we do. And I am so happy to be able this evening to share this broadcast with such a woman, someone who has been doing some extremely great things across the Caribbean and across the world. I want to tell you to encourage somebody to join us. Tell somebody to come on. Leadership Matters 246. Join us on where today we are running on Facebook and we're also on YouTube. So we encourage you to tell somebody join us as we have a wonderful discussion this evening with Debbie Anjali. She is a marketing strategist, and we are going to be talking branding, we're going to be talking marketing, and we're also going to be talking women in leadership. So tell somebody and join the conversation. Good evening, Debbie Ann.
Hello, good evening, Dr. Burke. How are you?
I am well. What about you?
I am good. I am good. Blessed.
That's great. Fantastic. So happy to have you with us this evening as we talk a little bit about leadership. So before we do anything, could you just break the ice? Tell us who Debbie Anjali is. Just give us a little insight of who you are, what you do, where you're from. There's so many persons who are listening in who would want to be able to get to know you a little better.
Okay, so one wonderful. My name is Debbie Jolie, and I am a marketing strategist. I am out of Trinidad and Tobago. I use the title the stammering communicator because I stammered terribly as a child, and I use it as part of my journey now to kind of debunk things about persons who stammer or stutter, that they cannot be natural communicators. So I work with companies to help them sort of refine their sales and marketing strategies. And of course, I work with companies all over the Caribbean.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your leadership journey. You are one of the leaders I know in marketing in your beautiful island. Tell us a little bit about your journey as a leader.
Oh, it has its I would say that it has its pros and cons. And today's International Women's Day, and I have been fortunate as part of my corporate career to be a part of a number of firms where I have managed teams. The journey hasn't always been easy. As a female, I always felt I had to prove myself. So I always had to show that I was better than my male counterpart as well. We could go into a whole story as well, because I spent quite a bit of my career in technical fields. I spent it in construction, in maritime, in really a kind of boys club. So it has been, I mean, I always say a challenge, but it has had its ups and downs, and part of the journey has always been about me trying to develop myself, grow, stretch myself in order to be more effective in a leadership role.
Okay, great. So I wanna ask you because you mentioned it, and I want us to jump off of it as yet. You talked about the fact that as a woman, you felt as though you were in fields where there were the boys' club. Let's talk a little bit about that. Is that still happening? Is it a case where women are still fighting this battle? Today's focus is choose to challenge, call
Mhm.
out a parity where you see it, call out any unfair practices that you see. Is this still the plight of women around the world, women in leadership?
I think so. I don't feel it directly anymore because I've been an entrepreneur for a little while. And so I don't feel the same pressures that persons in a corporate environment will feel. But as a lecturer, I have many tertiary level students that tell me these are the types of stresses they have. They seem to be held to a different standard in their workplace than some at times their male counterparts. So I mean, even up to this year, I had a student tell me that she's working in a financial sector, and she said when she came in, they scrutinized her background, her academic background, and all these things. So women still do feel like they have to prove so much. And I actually had a male colleague tell me he has never been asked about his academic qualifications. And I said, in my entire corporate career, they scrutinize it. So I think it's still a challenge. I don't think I am a person that looks at the glass as half full and not half empty. So I think part of it deals with your mindset and how you approach particular circumstances, how you approach it. And so I can say that good um I've had more good than bad.
Okay, understood, understood. Now, as we talk about your journey, as we talk about what you do, let's talk about a day in the life of Debbie. What does a day in your life look like? We know that you are very much out there on social media, etc. But what does that day look like, especially in light of what you do in marketing?
Oh, my day is it's a big balance between I have a 12-year old son that just started secondary school. In light of all that we've been going through now with the pandemic, it has changed the scope, right? So I'm working a lot from home now, whereas I would have visited clients face to face much more. So it is a juggling act between family and also managing what I do, managing clients, prospecting, making sure again my social media is fully, it's all I post every single day, so it is a balancing act, I think, for anybody.
Okay, so how has it been for you specifically during this period? How has COVID been treating you? Business, otherwise, how has it been treating you during this period? And coming out of this COVID experience, what are some of the lessons that you are learning?
Wow. One of them, I always say this to stay consistent with what you do.
Mhm.
Um, I was flexible and I was agile at the beginning of 2020. It
Mhm.
just, I was in Barbados maybe 10 days before we had a shutdown. I had projects planned. I was supposed to go to Jamaica as well. I was supposed to go Grenada, and everything shut down. And it took me maybe a good 2 weeks to sort of settle my mind with what was happening. I had to make
Mhm.
adjustments with my business in terms of where I was expecting revenue to come from. I couldn't travel anymore, so there wasn't any speaking engagements, and I had to the overused term to pivot, and
Yeah.
I did that fairly quickly, and I had a better 2020 than I had a better 2019 in business, right? And I know a lot of persons will
Interesting.
say no, right? But because I made that switch and I tapped into what persons were looking for, which was more a digital, having a digital footprint, I was able to capitalize that with clients. On the personal side, though, it was a little more of a challenge because I'm home more. I put on weight. I had to balance a son at that point in time that was doing SEA.
Right.
He was out of school. He was supposed to write exams maybe 3 weeks before that stopped. And then he and I are in the same space for hours at a time. So, and I think most people went through that. So I had a bigger personal adjustment um than a business adjustment. And I had to be really forgiving to myself and say, listen, every day is not going to be perfect. We still moving forward. You're gonna get to the finish line, but you don't need to hold on so I'm tight. And that's what I did, and that's how I made it through um 2020. But I tell persons all the time to stay consistent in what you do. A lot of persons just throw up their hands, and I didn't do that. I took a little time, settled myself, and say, listen, we still have to move forward. So I put things in place, and I stayed consistent with what I was doing, especially in terms of my business.
Fantastic. So, Debbie, let's talk a little bit. You spoke briefly about your challenge, and we know that you walk with the tag, the stammering communicator. And
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about that challenge.
Okay, you just have to repeat that one more
Okay,
time. I
I
think we
recognize it
froze
just
a
had.
little bit. Yes.
Yeah, something just
Yeah.
happened. So I said you talk a little bit about your journey as someone who started stammering. Let's talk a little bit more about that and speak directly to somebody out there who may be facing a challenge as a leader, probably a future leader, and
Yes.
may need some sort of encouragement to be able to get over it and to make the best of it.
Okay, as mentioned before, I stammered terribly as a child. I couldn't string two words together, and I couldn't be. I was a person who loved, I love marketing, the arts, and those types of things. And I couldn't be a person that liked those things and couldn't be able to command my voice. I did a series of things, but what worked mostly for me was that at the age of 24, I got into lecturing, and a little bit. You hearing me? Okay? Yeah.
I'm hearing you again. I'm hearing you again.
Right. Okay. So I said I got into lecturing at the age of 24. I wanted to be able to really command my voice, and I've been in it for 14 plus years now. That has really helped me. And when I started to use the stammering communicator tagline, number of persons that would say, Debbie, are you? They ask or not? They ask all kinds. Debbie, are you as I get a lot of persons who ask me how I own your mindset again. In Trinidad, we have a expression where we say, "You're a little bad mind," which really means you're going to go after something. And I was always a person that said I wasn't going to let it hold me back. And so and I've embraced it. It comes out. I let persons know, and it's not something I'm struggling with anymore, right? It is a part of my story. It is a part of who I am, and it's something I share to let persons know, hey, we are not perfect. We have trials, but you cannot let things just hold you back, especially from your goals and your dreams and what it is you want to achieve.
Yeah, I think that is probably the most fantastic thing about it, that you actually use it as a tagline. In other words, it isn't something that I'm ashamed of. It's part, as you said, it's part
Yeah.
of my journey. It's
Mm-hmm.
part of my journey.
Hmm.
What a
It took
wonderful
me a
point.
while to get to that point too, and it took me a while to get to that point because I wasn't always. It was always something I felt I had to overcome, and I had a little shame with it. But now I'm saying, listen, it is what it is. And a part of me sharing my story is because it is a journey, you know?
Yeah, fantastic. So let's look a little bit at the whole concept of personal branding. I know that this is something that you do a lot of personal branding. How important is this personal branding concept to a leader?
Oh, I think it's very important, and I think, especially to for professionals or even entrepreneurs, if we want to set ourselves apart, if we want to be seen as subject matter experts, if we want to sort of bulletproof our career a bit, we have to see ourselves as brands, and we have to build our personal, our public persona. I think it is a great tool for individuals to leverage to really to set themselves apart from others who might be in their own space.
Okay, so you say we have to build a brand. There's somebody out there who's listening, probably quite not understanding because I think that there's so many messages out there. But when you speak of brand, what is it exactly you're talking about? And speak directly to some leaders this evening.
Right. So people usually think of a brand as maybe a corporate brand, a Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and those
Mhm.
types of things. But there has been a change, and there's an evolution, and there are brand influencers, and there are entrepreneurs that are seen as these gurus and subject matter experts, and there is a space for leaders who want to really set themselves apart. And I think
Mhm.
that is maybe the golden ticket. If you are a person that is in leadership, if you are a person that is a HR professional, a marketing person, and you are seeing yourself as doing something distinct and different, you need to think about how you can develop your personal brand for individuals to know more about you and about the community that you serve.
Yeah, and I think that that is extremely important for us. So we're developing into this whole concept now of branding, and we're seeing several persons using social media, etc. I think sometimes, and I want you to weigh in on this. I think sometimes that we think that social media is branding. I think we think that that as long as I'm on social media, it's
Mhm.
branding full stop, and this is the extent of it. Is that really the extent of branding for a leader?
No, of course not. I think that you have to manage both your online and your offline brand, but you also have to come from a space of being authentic. You also have to come from a space of looking at this from a long haul. This is a long road. So people
Right.
see social media and they think the instant gratification, but I've been on consistently since 2016,
Hmm.
and
Right.
it takes quite a while to build your authority in that space, right? And
But
persons.
I mean, before you move on, there's some people who are saying to I don't think so. I sponsor a page or I did something, and in no time I saw a whole set of likes. Uh, let's break it down a little bit more. Is it how long? You said you were on for from 2016. What kind of progress are you making, and what do you find is the norm for persons who are out there trying to brand themselves as in whatever space they want to brand themselves in?
Right. So I mean, you have to think about. I think of my personal brand again as my business and my
Mhm.
name and my philosophy.
Right.
That is going to evolve, and I try to put out material and content that is very specific and unique to me. That is going to showcase me in a very unique
Right.
way. So I don't believe in the instant gratification. I've been in business too long to know that getting a bunch of likes and no engagement means it doesn't mean anything thing at all. right?
I want you to
So
say that. I want you to say that again because there's several people who believe in likes and getting likes. And you now said a bunch of likes and no engagement is nothing at all.
it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. People could like all they want, and I think for anyone who's been around and been on social media and using it for a while, could boost a post and see, oh, everybody likes it because we in this we scrolling on our phone, so and we like it. But it just like you build relationships offline and you build business
Mhm.
relationships or offline, you have to mimic that online. So you have to know your audience. I told a colleague that, listen, I know most of the persons who engage on my content, who come on, who say they like this, I know these people. And when I say I know the person's name. I know what they would like. They might say, hey, Debbie, I found that very funny, or I found it very, very interesting. So I know my community. And
Yeah.
so what you do offline to build a company, you have to do it online as well. And so if I see 20 likes or 50 likes or 100 likes and two comments, I'm not gonna feel so good. I
Yeah.
need that to know that persons are engaging and that they like my content.
Well, so we're talking now, and this is exciting for me because I am in a social media space, and there are times when, as you said, you post something and you could get several likes, but you don't get any engagement. People responding, people asking a question, whatever the case is, making a statement, a comment on it. So the question then is that you said that the same things we do in the physical space you must aim at doing them in that social media space. Can you give us at
Absolutely.
least two or three of those things? There are some persons who are listening and they're excited about what you were saying. Can you give them two or three things that they need to be very aware of?
Okay, so number one, persons, many times I use this as a barometer for anybody who is serious about what they want. If you're posting today and then you don't post until 2 weeks from now, you're not serious about building your online community. I tell persons I post every day, and persons go, oh gosh, no, I don't know how you do I'm that. Okay, you don't have to post every day like me, but you have to stay consistent. Consistency is what breeds that know, like, and trust, because persons are seeing you, hearing you, they're reading your blogs, they're getting an idea of your personality, and they're getting to know you or online. So that's one thing I say that persons absolutely need to do. um the second thing they need to do, just like what you're doing offline, is engaging with your audience. So just like you would visit your clients or you give them a call to find out what's happening, you need to engage with your audience. Persons, if persons are interested or they find that there was something about your content that stood out, they might send you a message, they might comment on your post, and that is an opportunity to continue the conversation. So do not, and there are lots of companies that just use social media as a photo gallery. They're just posting things and then they run away, and there's no engagement. And then you find, well, so why isn't any? And I'm posting all the time, and that is because you're not engaging. The third thing I would do is also well, this is a little bit more technical aspect, but the structure of your post should also encourage persons to reach out. So it should have a question. It should be asking the audience something. It should be giving them information on how to contact you. It should be speaking to them directly. Many times I speak to specific persons. Like I speak to, like, a job title. I would talk to, this is a post for engineer, or this is a conversation I had with a project manager, and so it makes it It makes it a personal story where people can actually connect with you, and that is what you want.
No, that's some good. That's some really good stuff there that you're sharing with us. No, Abby. We are in this whole COVID period, and one of the first things that people usually do when it comes to the budget is cut the marketing budget.
Yes.
That be one of the first things they do. Cut the
Yep.
marketing budget. Oh, not budget. Sorry. Oh, we're gonna have to pull back from radio. We're gonna have to pull back from putting in newspaper. We're gonna have so generally they pull back from. Let's talk a little bit to some of those persons out there. How important is marketing, especially in a period like this? We're in the midst of a pandemic. How important is something like marketing?
Sales and marketing is just, they always say it is the lifeblood of the organization. And if you want to, I always break it down for if people don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, you're not in their sphere, and therefore somebody else's, which is actually your competitor. Now, I understand that companies have budgetary restrictions, but I never think that it is smart to cut your sales and your marketing budget. And in fact, for 2020, I got the opportunity to really help two companies re-engineer because they were not focused specifically on sales strategies to help them grow, and they realized that deficiency because they just saw sales go like this, boom, and they say, listen, we really did not focus on these specific things to really help us through, a difficult time. And so I believe in it. I don't tell companies to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Okay, understood, understood. No, I want to. I can't believe we're already nearing the end of the broadcast. But I want you to share with us. There's some leaders, there's some persons out there who are listening to you, and they probably follow you on social media. They're probably excited about what you are doing. Could you probably get them again two or three things that has become so much a part of what you do that you would want to give them advice? Some young person you would say, listen, if you are going to be a leader in your area, if you're going to be a leader in anything, these are the things that I would say to you. You have no choice but to do. One, two, three. Could you just give us those as we close off this broadcast?
Wow. One is, if you are a leader, I think you need to listen to your people. I've found that in my corporate career, a lot of solutions come directly from the employees. Many times, because of organizational culture and so on, they never want. At times, they don't always want to take it. But your employees are a great source of solutions. Your salespeople are a great source of solution. Your customer service persons, because they are actually they have a close connection with your customers, right? So they have an insight onto what is happening in your marketplace. So I say that one. Two, I also say to look at how you build your brand. I'm seeing a lot of colleagues, a lot of professionals who are feeling unstable, and they have been in leadership positions for a very long time. So I know that there are managers who are feeling, hey, I've been around for a long time, but I'm feeling a little bit stagnant or even threatened in this time. And so
Yeah,
I advise them to look at ways to build your brand, right? And that is a way for me is a way to sort of bulletproof your career,
right.
you know.
Mhm.
And maybe the third thing in leadership is, I would say, working across departments, and I've also seen that as a challenge. But a company that does well, that is able to hit those top line goals, which is your revenue goals, and your bottom line goals, which is your profitability, really requires a synergy across departments. And that takes a lot from one leader to another to say, listen, let's see how best we could work together. you know I had a sales manager who told me the finance people are the people who deal with pricing, and I said that should never be, right? It should be a collaboration, because you understand the triggers from the point of view of the customer. They understand the margins and the things that they are looking at, but the two must work together in order for you to be successful and for you to penetrate the market the way you want to. And I think I don't see that enough. I don't see it enough, and
Right.
that's what I would encourage.
Okay. So Debbie, we pretty much out of time. There's one more thing to go, but we're pretty much out of time. But one thing that I want you to do for us before you go, you spoke earlier about women in leadership and everything else. Today is International Women's Day, and I'm going to give you that signal responsibility to be able to take 30 seconds, just 30 seconds, to speak into some woman's life out there, somebody who has been battling in this space, somebody who might be struggling along, might be facing some of those challenges that you faced when you first started up. I want you to take just 30 seconds to say something to them, speaking to someone's. There's some female leader who is listening and who needs that encouragement in order to be able to move on.
I tell women out there to not to give up. If you have a dream and a goal, you have things that you want to achieve, do not give up. There are times you're not going to go as fast as you want. You maybe will not exactly get there along the straight line, but if you stay consistent and you keep your eye on the prize, you will make progress. And I tell women that all the time. Do not give up. People give up too quickly, and it's like right before you're going to get to where you need to go, you decide, hey, this is too much for me. So stay back, say a prayer, but never give up on that goal. Keep going, keep going.
Thank you so very much. This has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you, Debbie, for being with us this evening. We were talking to Debbie Jolie out of Trinidad, marketing strategist, doing lots of great work around the Caribbean and around the world. And I am so excited to be able to sit and have this discussion with you. As I said to you, there are many misconceptions that we've had over the years about branding ourselves, and I'm so happy that you were able to share some of that information with us. Today is International Women's Day, and we wanted to pay a little tribute to some special women. I'm going to ask our production team to just share a short clip with you as we close out this evening's session. Remember, this is Leadership Matters, and we talk leadership because leadership matters.
Years of activism and lobbying by feminists and those with the interests of women at heart led to March 8th being officially recognized as a day when the efforts and accomplishments of women in all spheres of life would be acknowledged globally. According to the United Nations, International Women's Day is a day when women are recognized for their achievements without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. It is a day to acknowledge and make people aware of women's rights and gender equality, parity, and a call to action for accelerating women's equality. Simply put, today we at Leadership Matters celebrate human beings all over the world who typically carry two X chromosomes, women. Women, today we especially underscore your dignity, worth, purpose, and skills. From Leadership Matters, happy International Women's Day.
Okay, we are finished.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
very much.